Brought to you by Tailored Wealth, helping business leaders live their version of a rich life.
Welcome to another edition of the Making Sense of Your Money podcast, where we cut through the financial noise and help business leaders to make smart, confident money decisions. Episode number 26 of the Making Sense of Your Money podcast. I'm your host, Dan Pascone. I'm the founder and CEO of Tailored Wealth. And each episode features a trusted voice in the financial world, someone who works directly with high-level professionals to simplify the complex and turn strategy into action. And today we've got a really special and unique guest. I'm really excited about this conversation. We've got with us Melanie Davis, who is the VP of Marketing and Development at a really great philanthropic organization called City Team. And this is going to be a unique one because we're going to talk all about philanthropy and her organization and how she works with professionals that help to support the great work that her team does. And this is something that I'm passionate about, is near and dear to my heart. So Melanie, thanks for joining the Making Sense of Your Money podcast. Good to have you.
Dan, thank you so much for having me on today. I'm excited about our conversation.
Yeah, likewise. So we got a lot to cover. I've got a lot of things I want to hit on with you. But before we get into it, I know our audience would love to just hear a brief overview of who you are, what you do, how you got into what you do, and then a little bit about what your organization ultimately supports.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, my name's Melanie Davis. I get to oversee the development and marketing team for City Team. City Team is a nonprofit organization that helps men and women overcoming substance abuse challenges, homelessness, as well as food insecurity. So we have 5 different locations in the United States. 3 are located in California, 1 in Portland, Oregon, and then 1 in Chester, Pennsylvania. And I have the privilege of working with the team that gets to work with all of our amazing donors to help fund all of the programs. So one of the things that's really special about City Team is the services that we offer are free to the recipients that need them. And that's all through the generous contributions of philanthropists, corporations, foundations, making it possible.
Yeah, I love that. You know, Melanie and I chatted about this earlier, and I talk about this a fair amount on social channels, but I'm involved in an organization that's very similar to the one that Melanie supports. So what you do is near and dear to my heart. So first off, give the audience a quick overview of that your organization ultimately does. Take us through like the day-to-day of the individuals and the great people that you're able to support and what you're able to help them accomplish.
Yeah, so at City Team, we like to say that we meet immediate needs, but our whole goal is to help someone experience a lasting solution or transformation in their life. So we meet people oftentimes at their lowest low. People may be experiencing domestic violence, homelessness, living on the streets, encampments, coming from shelters. We serve a lot of people that are experiencing incarceration and just getting ready to come out of that and wondering what the next step is going to be. We help a lot of men and women that are really struggling with substance abuse challenges. Many of them often have, children that have been impacted by some of those decisions. So City Team is really able to step into a person's life, and our whole goal is to inspire them and provide some of the resources that they need in order to experience lasting transformation. So the way that we do that is we like to say that we provide a hand up, not a hand out. Oh. Even though our services are free, we know that it takes hard work to overcome some of those barriers and challenges. And so we want to make sure that we're working with people that are very serious about change. So most of this is done through two methods. The first one is residential and transitional housing. So people can come and live with us depending on what challenge they're trying to overcome. And we provide them with a case manager that meets with them weekly to help analyze some of the barriers that they're experiencing to breaking through some of these challenges. We get them connected with our City Team at Work program, which is our job skills training. And our whole goal is to be able to help the clients, the men and women that we serve, be able to get a job making a living wage. On the West Coast in Santa Clara County in California, $26 an hour for a single individual. And we serve single moms that have 3 children, or men, that are trying to get sober and then going back to take care of their family. So a job making minimum wage isn't going to cut it. So we do this by partnering with different organizations to provide certifications, Google IT certifications, getting connected to the unions, but really with that goal of increasing their earning potential and providing economic empowerment to the individual. The second way that we really do that is through food. So a lot of families are experiencing food insecurity and really struggling to make ends meet and are making decisions on whether they're able to pay their bills or put food on the table for their families. So we come in and we're able to offer those groceries. But again, our goal is to be able to introduce them to programs that are going to help them. So the groceries are the first step. We also have what's called Elevate out in our neighborhoods and communities, where we can actually work with families that are just coming to us for groceries, and be able to work with them to also help them increase their earning potential, do job skills training and that sort of thing.
Very, very cool. That's a great breakdown. And I love your line there. It's a hand up, not a handout. That's a really, really cool line. And, my takeaway from that is you're not just providing temporary solutions. You're providing lasting change and really changing people's lives, which is super cool. And, we try to do that in a very, very small way here at Tailored Wealth and with our content brand, Making Sense of Your Money. But I really, really appreciate and respect what you all do. All right. So let's talk a little bit about how you're able to provide these services, right? It's great what you do for the folks, but your organization has to be able to get funded and to be able to provide these resources. So give us a little bit of a look under the hood as to how you're able to provide the invaluable services that you do.
Yeah. So City Team works primarily with individuals to fund all of our services. As I mentioned, they were free for every client that needs to come to us to receive them. And that's done by working with generous philanthropists that are able to invest in the lives of people that they maybe have never met yet, so that door is open for the next person that needs help. We also work with some corporations, foundations, but we are so fortunate to have donors that contribute, whatever they're able to offer from any step of their financial sphere. My team gets the privilege of getting to work with some of our donors that do have a little bit more wealth, and they are very passionate about philanthropy and really want to use the resources that they have in order to make a difference in the lives of others. And so we get to partner them with opportunities to be able to help fund these critical services so that clients are able to take advantage of them.
Yeah, very cool. And philanthropy is something that I speak a lot with our clients and our audience. And, it can be really beneficial from a lot of different levels. So we've got a lot of generous people in our society, a lot of great philanthropists out there. Melanie, what do you find with respect to your donor base? What is it that makes them connect with your organization? There's obviously a lot of charitable institutions out there, but what is it that makes them connect with you, connect with your mission, connect with your clients, and then ultimately help you fund these services?
So two things probably stand out the most about that is, I would say a lot of it goes back to our success rate. So a lot of organizations that are helping people overcome substance abuse challenges, it's very common to see sobriety rates that are under 20% for people that are completing short-term programs. City Team is a long-term program, and so our sobriety success rate is much higher in the 70%. Unfortunately, Wow. Our women are a little bit 2 percentage points higher than our men on average, but it's just really incredible to see that many people that after they complete a 10-month program, they're actually staying sober a year after that. So that's almost 2 years of sobriety. We are a faith-based organization, so some people connect with that aspect, but really, I think it's seeing the lasting transformation, and people that are philanthropists want to know that what they're investing in is actually working. And just, speaking to your business and your focus, I think a lot of times nonprofit organizations, they're not always in the position to have people that have as much training in business and financial stewardship and just, that strategy. We have been so fortunate to, our president actually was an executive in finance at Seagate and then came to work for the ministry. And so I think our donors also really trust that every dollar that they are investing in the organization is being properly stewarded, and that we are really maximizing that investment to help as many people as we possibly can. The other thing is the City Team at Work program. So one thing I should have mentioned about that is the financial financial training aspect. Almost every client that we serve comes from a background of financial ignorance. They grew up in families that did not understand just general budgeting, or maybe they didn't have as much money. And so there was a lot of fear around finances and really a mentality of lack. And so I think donors also really relate to the fact that we are not just housing people and getting them off the street, but we are also teaching them how to be financially successful and stable for the future. And that's something that produces stability, not just for them, but for their children.
Yeah, that is so cool. I mean, listen, there's a lot of ways that you can do good in this world, right?
Yeah.
But, I agree with you. I work both on the personal side with some of the nonprofit work that I do, and then with a lot of our clients that have philanthropic motivations. And you do want to see that either the time that you're spending or the dollars that you're contributing are going to a place that is optimizing and maximizing the good that you're doing. And two things stick out to me in the short time that we've been chatting here about your organization. Number one is those success rates are incredibly high. I mean, I'm sort of shocked by those numbers. And then number two, it's the long-term sustainability of it, right? Yeah. And that's ultimately making our society better, which is great for everyone. Everybody wins when that happens. There's very few things in this world where everybody wins, and I think what you guys are doing certainly checks that box. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about how you work directly with donors, how they get engaged with you. Tell us a little bit about that donor development process.
Yeah. So we get to work through partners and work with our partners, really connecting them to different partnership opportunities that are going to be meaningful. And we're able to do that through quite a few ways. So, a lot of our partners will choose to just support us by sending in cash contributions. But what's really neat is that there's also a lot of different giving vehicles that are really advantageous for people that are philanthropists. So a lot of our partners will make contributions through donor advised funds, so I'm not a financial expert, but I do know that there's a lot of significant tax benefits for that, because the partner is able to get the tax benefit when they put their money into the donor advised fund versus when they actually make the contribution to the nonprofit organization. I think, it really comes down to, them being able to maximize the impact for themselves, as well as sort of have that reserve available when they do come across causes that they want to support in a meaningful way. In addition to that,
you nailed that. That's absolutely correct. And I'll tell you, I talk about donor advised funds a lot, actually, Melanie, because I think they're actually heavily underutilized. A lot of folks think that they're reserved for the ultra wealthy. And actually today, that is not the case. So I'm going to make a pitch here for donor advised funds. For any of you out there that have charitable or philanthropic endeavors, you should be setting up your own donor advised fund, because to Melanie's point, there's a couple of benefits. Number one, you're able to control the timing of the tax benefits. Number two, you're able to invest those dollars and get professional investment and growth. And then number three, to your point, you can utilize the funds for the organizations that you're passionate about in the timing that you're passionate about them. So a lot of times I work with professionals who might have a really big income year, and that's a great time to stock cash away in a donor advised fund and watch it grow. They may not even know what they want to contribute to yet, but 2-3 years down the road, now that fund has grown and you come across an organization like City Team, and oh, by the way, now I've got the donor advised fund that's already ready to go, and I can have a much greater impact with an organization like yours. So I thought you did a great job of positioning that, and that's my little pitch for donor advised funds.
Well, and just even speaking to that, we ran a capital campaign to acquire a 50-unit apartment complex, actually in the middle of COVID, which I know is funny timing, but we use it for women and their children that are coming out of homelessness. 40 to 50% of these women are fleeing domestic violence, just really having a place for them to come and be able to recover. And so what was really interesting about it is when that capital campaign came around, there was so many donors of varying sizes that because they had that donor advised fund, and now there was this really incredible cause that they wanted to support, maybe in a more meaningful way than their general income would allow them to. They had the ability to be able to do that, but they got the tax benefit for themselves when they needed to. So it was such a win-win for everyone.
Yeah, well said. It really it checks a lot of boxes from that perspective. All right, very, very good. All right, so let's talk a little bit about where you see your organization and even your industry going in the future. Talk to us a little bit about the way forward, what you're looking to accomplish with your team, and maybe not just your organization, but like the philanthropic industry in general.
Yeah, so it's a really interesting question because I think right now, one of the biggest pressures that organizations are facing is how rapidly things are changing. So when it comes to digital marketing and just the different ways that people are being marketed to and shown opportunities about things to spend their resources on, as well as the number of organizations that actually exist. One of the things that City Team has really been focusing on, as well as other organizations that we're connected to, is really diversifying the way that people have to get involved with organizations. So just this coming year, we're actually going to be accepting cryptocurrency donations, which sounds really, even to say it out loud, it's like 5 years ago, people probably would have thought that you were like maybe on the fringe or a little crazy. But I think just giving people multiple different ways to be able to engage with your organization at an entry point that feels comfortable to them, as well as there's so many different generations now, and different generations are looking for different things. The younger generations really want to be more hands-on. They really care about making a change. They want to be deeply involved with any organization that they're supporting. So I think nonprofits we have a really huge opportunity right now to ensure that we're not leaving anyone behind, that there's a place for every person who wants to engage with the cause that we have, and really making those engagement and entry points really accessible across multiple different generations. So I think nonprofits are sort of facing that opportunity / challenge of, how do we actually position ourselves to be able to adapt quicker to, the changes that are happening. And that happens with your internal team structures, that happens with the technology that you choose to adopt, but that also happens with the opportunities that you present to people. Someone that's in their 70s is going to want to engage with your organization in a very different way than a young family who has toddlers that really cares about what you do, but they don't have as much time. So that's what I really see people focusing on is, learning how to pivot quickly and introducing those generational opportunities, which a lot of times goes back to the technology that you're able to offer people and the ease of access that they have to find you.
Very cool. I learned a few things there. That's very cool. Thanks for sharing that. And it's fascinating to see how technology is impacting all fields, and certainly is on yours. And pretty cool to see that you're accepting crypto. That surprises me a little bit, but very, very cool to hear. All right, so we're going to shift gears a little bit. Now we're going to talk about you, and you are officially now entering, Melanie, into the lightning round. Okay, so we never tell our guests about the lightning round. We want it to be super organic, but all we ask is that you give us kind of the first thought that comes to your mind. Could be a one-word answer, it could be a drawn-out thought, anything in between. All right, you ready?
Okay, let's go.
Coffee or tea?
Definitely coffee. We just got a new espresso machine, and I'm obsessed.
I actually had an espresso earlier today myself. All right, so I like it. Very good. All right, one meal for the rest of your life. What is it?
French fries.
Oh, okay.
It's so unhealthy, and I actually am a fairly 80% healthy person so that I can be 20% unhealthy. But it's always French fries.
All right, I love it. What is one tool or technology other than your phone or your computer, so it could be software or hardware, that you can't live without?
I think it would be music, a way to play music.
Okay.
So maybe it's a Bluetooth speaker or
Cool.
Something. I think music is able to relate to people across all different backgrounds and different types, and is wonderful.
Very cool. Very cool. Do you have a favorite quote or phrase about life, success, philanthropy, anything?
Yeah, I think being generous with what you have,
Okay.
because I think every person has something to offer, and sometimes you may be waiting until you have more to offer. And so I just always try to live by and think about, I can be generous with what I have to offer today.
I love that. Be generous about what you have to offer today. That's the key, because that will
Yeah,
change over time. But today, I
absolutely.
love that. Do you have a favorite book?
That is really difficult. I have so many books that I've been meaning to read
Okay.
recently that I haven't read. So unfortunately, not a specific one is coming to mind right now.
No problem. How about a personal hack? Do you have a personal hack that you live by that you can share with the audience?
Habit stacking.
Love it.
So, yes. So, I actually do this before I knew that that was a thing.
Yeah.
But my friend was like, Melanie, you realize that you habit stack. So, I'm a very process driven person. And I always try to plan my phone calls while I'm driving, if possible, or as often as possible, be able to do two things that actually overlap so that I can save my time.
All right. So if that's the case, I'm going to give you a book if you haven't read it already. It's funny. This book has now come up 3 times for me this week. One was with a client, one was with our youth baseball team, and now you're the third one, and that's Atomic Habits. A really good book,
Oh,
Atomic Habits.
okay. So, that's on my reading list. And you know what? Now a book is coming to mind. It's a super old book, but Things I Wish I Knew Before I Were Married. Doesn't have to always do with finances, but it's a fantastic book filled with questions that you and your fiance can go through to prepare you for marriage. I'm always about preparation. So,
I love it. I love
but
it.
Atomic Habits is on my reading list. I haven't gotten to it yet. So
Okay,
I
cool. There
haven't
you go.
purchased it.
There you go. All right. What is one bucket list item that you've already accomplished?
So my connection to City Team is because I actually went through their residential program. I struggled with substance abuse challenges, have now been sober for 14 years.
Oh, good for you.
But I think one of my bucket list items was being able to be in a position of influence that I could support the program that helped me. I didn't know what that was going to look like, but going through that, I knew that I wanted to be in a position where I could actually give back all of the things that I received when I went through City Team's program in some way, whether it was financially and now getting to raise funds for the exact same program that I went through, as well as my husband and I also personally support City Team. Just really feels like a full circle moment, and on the list of accomplishments is definitely towards the top.
Good for you. Good for you. Congratulations. What's one milestone that you're working towards either in your professional or your personal life?
So one thing that I'm working towards, I think actually has to do with some of my time management. I am very quick to say yes to a lot of things because there's a lot of things that I care about. So right now I'm really trying to focus on, we're really involved with volunteerism at our church, at City Team, and work and have a child. So I'm really focused on that elusive balance milestone, which I know balance isn't realistic. It's more adjusting for life stages. But I think that's the milestone that I most focus on in this season of life right now.
I love it. Yeah, life has its seasons, and you have to embrace the seasons. I'm with you on that. All right, last one. If you could give one piece of advice to your younger self, what would it be?
I would tell my younger self how important the decisions that you make when you're young actually are. And I really wish that I had pursued financial education earlier in my life. My husband and I both came from families where that was not taught. I came from, single mother family. We were very poor most of my life. And so my husband and I had to teach ourselves and are behind, a little bit when it comes to our investments and preparing for our future because we had to start as adults. And so I really wish that that was something that I had learned about when I was younger so that I could set myself up even more, and something we're very focused on doing now with our.
You're preaching to the choir on that one. So, that's a big part of what we aim to do with our community. And, you mentioned with your child, one of the things that we say a lot to our clients and to our audience is don't just pass down assets, pass down knowledge. And the knowledge a lot of times can be even more impactful than any financial means. So awesome stuff, Melanie. I really, really enjoyed this discussion. And last thing is, if our listeners want to connect with you, learn a little bit more about City Team, collaborate, work with you, what's the best way for them to reach you or find you?
Yeah, so our website, cityteam.org, is a a great place where you can, for people that need help, are able to go there and see our resources for people that are looking to give help. My name is listed on the legacy giving page, the stock donation page, the donor advice fund page, as well as my email is mdavis, Davis, at cityteam, all one word.org.
Very cool. Very cool. Thanks for sharing that, Melanie. Thanks so much for sharing your time and your insights today. And that's it for the episode. As always, and I think we really hit on this today with the philanthropic piece, prioritize your version of a rich life. Cheers, everybody.